Let's bring the January 6th, 2022 meeting to order. Salute to the flag. Before we do that, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the victims of the fire in Philadelphia. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Mr. Cullen?
Mr. Cullen is excused.
Ms. Curran? Here. Mr. D'Angelo?
Here.
Ms. Paglione?
Mrs. Paglione is excused.
Mr. Poliafico?
Here.
Mr. Parolo?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Poplawski?
Here.
And Mr. Chicoletti?
Here. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with addendums and tabled items?
So moved.
Mr. D'Angelo, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parola. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Reports, Dr. Schaefer?
Yes, January is School Board Recognition Month. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank all the board members for their hard work and support. I don't think people realize the time, the effort, and stress that board members put into their role, and I want to say with no compensation. So on behalf of myself and the entire district, thank you for all that you do for us. In reference to COVID, the administration is monitoring the situation daily. The goal of the district is to maintain in-person instruction if possible. Should we see that we cannot staff buildings, then we'll make that decision to close that day. Okay. Given the current rise in cases, the Bristol Borough School District is maintaining the mask mandate. This too will be reviewed on a regular basis. In accordance with the latest guidelines from the CDC, an individual tested positive must quarantine for 5 days versus the former requirement of 10 days. But then they must be masked for 5 days after that. Okay. In reference to our threat incidences prior to the winter break, I want to thank the entire school community for their support and understanding. I also want to thank the Bristol Borough Police Department, especially Acting Chief Joe Moores, whose support was phenomenal for the entire situation. In addition to thanking the police department, I'd also like to thank the borough for donating a bucket truck and a pickup truck to the school district. We certainly will use those wisely. And for those board members, I just want to briefly explain the process for closing or doing a 2-hour delay, okay? Bucks County is primarily split into 3 districts, okay? We're Lower Bucks, so it's divided according to the vote text and what schools serve certain vote texts. So we serve the lower vote tech here, and that is us. There are 6 districts that are in our group. It's us, it's Marsville, Chamonix, Pennsbury, Ben Salem, and Bristol Township, okay? So so for example, we would meet tomorrow morning, either Zoom or text about 4:30 and make the decision at that time. We do that jointly, and the reason we do it jointly is, so for example, we have a number of IU classes here. Most of the students, if not all the students in those classes, come from those other 5 districts, okay? And if we have any special needs students out there in one of those districts for the most part. So that's why we all try to stick together as much as possible, okay? So that's how the process is made, okay? Is the 6 districts together. Then of course there's Central Bucks and Upper Bucks, all right? But it's primarily, not that doesn't say we will all the time, but 99% of the time we stick together. And like I said, it's just easier for our special needs students, for our road tech as well, okay? So that's how the decision is made. And I just want to say at 4:45 a.m. on Monday, the National Weather Service had a special briefing that said snow would start 3 to 5 inches at 7 o'clock, starting as ice. And we didn't get a flake. So that's why that decision was made. And that was a special report made specifically for Bucks County Schools at that hour. So, that's everything I have, Mr. Chicoletti.
Thank you, Dr. Schaefer. Mrs. Rosado, do you have anything?
The only thing I would add to what Dr. Schaefer said is that the teachers have been communicating with the parents and families should the need arise for us to, because of the weather or any other situation, be virtual. And so they've been communicating, so please communicate with your teachers as to the students logging on for their instruction on Google Classroom. Whether it's asynchronous means they do it on their own without being live with the teacher, and synchronous instruction is live with the teacher. So the teachers will continue to communicate that, and we'll see about tomorrow.
Thank you, Mrs. Rosado. All right, public participation. Anyone from the public? Okay, no one from the public. Routine monthly business.
Okay, Mr. President, item 5, item A, approve the minutes, I motion that we approve the minutes of November 4th and December 8th, 2021. Item B, approve the list of bills for November and December 2021. And item C, approve the treasurer's report for October and November 2021, and they're all part of the package, if anyone has any questions.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Prolas? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? New business, item A.
Okay, item A, I motion that we approve the attached resolution indicating that the board will not exceed the index of 4.7% relative to the 2022-2023 budget, and that resolution is also part of the package.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Prola. Okay, Mr. McHugh, would you just give a comment on that?
Sure, the 4.7% is of our millage rate, which is 154, so 4.7 times 1.54 is, the most we could raise it is 7.2 mils, which equates to about just under, a little over $500,000. If we were going to raise taxes above that number, then you would vote to exceed it, but tonight you're voting that you will not raise taxes above that number.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. McHugh. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Item B.
Item B, excuse me, approve the changes to the Articles of Agreement between the Bucks County Technical High School and the Bristol Borough School District.
Mr. President, this one does require a roll call.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Trullo. Okay, so Mr. D'Angelo, motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parolo? Okay, Madam Secretary?
Ms. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. D'Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Poliafico?
Yes.
Mr. Parolo?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Poplawski?
Yes.
And Mr. Chicoletti?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Okay, item approved. Personnel.
Okay, item 7, personnel. Item A, approve the resignation of Rosemary Brandt, van driver, effective December 23, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parolo? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Item B.
Item B is approve, motion that we approve the appointment of Denise Smith, van driver, $14.70 per hour, no benefits, as per negotiated agreement, effective January 3, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parolo? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Item C.
Item C, I motion that we approve the appointment of the following daily substitute teachers at a price of $105 per day, no benefits, as per master agreement, effective the 2021-2022 school year. Destiny Cox, Alexis Kieswetter, and Victoria Simmons.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parolo? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Item D.
Item D, I motion that we approve the resignation of Helen Swisky, business technology teacher, effective January 2, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Parolo? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. Item E.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the appointment of the following half-year long-term substitute, salary and benefits as per the master agreement, effective January 3, 2022, until the end of the school year, and that would be Rachel Miller.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Corolla? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Item F.
Mr. President, I have motion that we approve the resignation of Jacqueline Taggart, long-term substitute, secondary English certified, effective immediately.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Item G.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the appointment of the following half-year, long-term substitute, secondary English certified, salary and benefits as per the master agreement, effective January 3rd, 2022, till the end of the school year, and that would be Olivia Smith.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Corolla? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions?
Abstain.
Item H.
Item H, I motion that we approve the appointment of the following half-year, long-term substitute, secondary English certified, salary and benefits as per the master agreement, effective immediately until the end of the school year, John Jaconki. I apologize.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Corolla? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? IU representative? No one's here. Mr. D'Angelo, do you have anything to say with the IU on her behalf?
No, I would just say that, kind of echoing Tom's, regarding the, like when they have to close schools, it's not an easy call, and when you get a bad forecast, you know, I mean, there's really nothing you could do, but it's not that they just decide to close schools, because it's actually, as you said, we're all in it together, and, there are a lot of moving parts. And it's just amazing of how they've got it now, that there is some flexibility. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, it was everybody closed. Now, they do kind of take a look at the weather patterns, and so I just would hope that the parents would be understanding. It's the last thing that we want to do is cancel school, but if there's stuff that happens late, I think it's even better when at least there's snow on the ground. But something like this, it kind of makes people mad, but if it did turn out to be an ice storm, it would really been a lot of dangers to our kids. So I will just mention that as knowing that the IU is involved with that, and they do their best to do what's right for the kids.
Thank you, Mr. D'Angelo. I guess we could put men on the moon, but we can't predict the weather, right? It's just one of those things. Okay, information and discussion. Okay, so let me, Mr. Trulove?
Yes, very briefly, Mr. President, thank you. An executive session was held tonight, beginning at 6:30. All members who are here at the meeting were at the executive session, along with Dr. Schaefer, Mr. McHugh, and myself. Items involving confidential items, security, personnel, and real estate were discussed, and the executive session concluded just before this meeting started. So that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trulove. Okay, let's go around the horn. Mr. Smith, anything to say?
No, just wish everybody a Happy New Year's.
Okay. Ms. Curran?
No, I'm looking forward to a very successful and my first year with the board, and again, I wish everyone a Happy New Year.
Mr. Parola?
I hope everybody had a good holiday, a good Christmas, and a good New Year, and hopefully the second half goes smooth and fast, and then we'll be in summertime.
Is that it?
That's about it.
Mr. Poplawski?
Just want to thank our teachers. You know, we haven't had to go virtual, a lot of staff shortings at a lot of schools in Bucks County and in Philadelphia. You know, me working in Philadelphia, I know that firsthand, but we haven't had to shut down, so that's a true testament to the commitment of our teachers and that they're practicing, you know, safety, health and safety protocols, so that's it.
Mr. Polyafco?
Nothing here.
Dr. Schaefer?
Nothing, just Happy New Year. Look forward to a good year.
Mr. Chulo?
I'll echo everybody else's sentiments, thanks.
Okay,
Mr.
Mr.
Chicoletti.
D'Angelo?
Just one thing, you brought up a good thing, we had a moment of silence for those family, the people that lost their lives in a fire. And I know, Tom, you're a big on fire, you're doing a lot of good things. And is there any way, maybe Kelly and Tom could just remind all the kids that if you live in a home and you need fire detector equipment, I think the borough really
The
has
borough
them for
provided
free.
it, yeah. The borough
So if
provided
you could, and just a way to kind of reach out
That's
to
a
our
good point.
kids and just let them know that if they're living somewhere and they need one, it's free, and it's just another way to stay connected and to kind of get a little bit closer to the families of our kids.
Do you think, I hate to butt in, but do you think we can get them to come here and
Possibly, well, let Tom
So-
talk to to Mr. Slack.
So we did have fire prevention assemblies back in October because that's Fire Prevention Month, and we did those virtually, but Captain Kathleen did a great job, even though it was virtual. The kids had lots of questions, and that was reiterated, and that was kind of their homework to go home and check their their
Okay.
smoke detectors, but it's not a bad reminder.
Just a reminder.
Even sending out a message that they are free and they can be installed for them, so I'll take care of that.
You got it.
That's a good-
it. Thank you.
All right, that's a very good point, Mr. D'Angelo, very good point to keep things safe. I don't have anything. Our next meeting will be February the 3rd. Our next meeting will be February the 3rd.
I gotta get something to you.
Just, can I add one thing to the public? We've been kind of advertising for daily substitute teachers, and we're looking for any person who has a degree in anything. They could contact me, and we could get them an emergency certificate. It doesn't commit you to working every day. You could pick and choose your days. It's a very beautiful, warm, inviting environment, especially if you like kids. So we do need substitutes, so if you have a degree and you just want to kind of come in and help us out, just contact me, please,
We're also in need of aides.
and aides.
So if anybody would like to work as an aide in the district, we do need aides as well.
Okay, with that being said, could I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved, I motion.
Mr. D'Angelo, do I have a second?
Second.
Who's that, Mr. Perolo? Okay, meeting adjourned.